Welcome back to Courage Just Do It channel. I am so happy we're on week 5. I am so excited. I think this has been very new to me. I'm trying to get used to it still, and it's nerve-wracking sometimes, but just bear with me. But I am enjoying myself very, very much. So, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to one of my coworkers. She given me feedback recently, and if anybody has any feedback as in improving myself or anything on video shooting, just shoot me a comment on Instagram or below on this video. I love to hear advice. I'm always love advice. So I want to give thanks to my coworker. You know who you are. I appreciate it so much. So tonight I want to talk about love. Now, love could be anything, but mostly I want to talk about love is your enemy. So, loving your enemy. Um, well, let's see. How many of us experience somebody who we care about, but they do us wrong, and we try to get that person to get along with us or try to see what is the reason why they don't dislike us for who we are or whatever the case is. I think a lot of us experienced that before. Just experience negativity. People try to bring you down as a person. And one thing I'm going to tell you is you carry yourself with love. You become love. And what I mean by that is, going to the cross, going back to the cross, the Lord gave his life for us, all of his children. And he loved us very much that he knew that we needed him more than ever later on in life. And God, the way I see it is God is so patient for us to come to him and say, Lord, I need you in my life. And he's so humble and he's so patient with us. He's so merciful upon his children that we should be the same way. And in the sense of what I'm trying to say is we should love our enemies. We should love, family members that do us wrong, friends, anybody that try to put negative in your life. You just love on them. One thing is I always say to anybody is don't wear their clothing and don't hate the person because it's not the person's fault. It's the spirit that's coming against them. It's the spirit that they're battling with. So in other words, it's a person and the spirit. And what you should do is pray for the spirit that they have against on them and don't wear their clothing. You remain humble. God wants us to remain humble and to love that spirit that is coming against them. The more we love, the better we are, the better we grow. Then you surprise your own self because God is teaching us and God is pouring in his love for us to be able to become love, to be Christ-like, to walk among this nation, among this earth, and just love on people that who are lost in this world, who do not know what it is, the love of God. That's one thing that we can't just jump and assume in the flesh, especially the flesh. The flesh is ready to just retaliate and ready to just attack. When we receive negative in our life and in our atmosphere, our flesh right away wants to get upset or we want to lash out in that moment, and we shouldn't be able to do that. We should remain calm and say, you know what, I'm not going to fight against the spirit. I'm going to just let God take control. And that's one thing, going back on the flesh, where is our percentage in our flesh? Are we going to let flesh control it, or we're going to let God control the situation? So when you receive negative, you remain calm and stay humble because God made you for so much more that he wants you to be just like him. And yes, it's hard. It is very hard. But one thing is, when you remain in God and you focus on God and ask God to help you in these moments that is difficult to handle, he teaches us slowly but surely, and he shows us this is the way to react, how to handle these situations. And the more we rely on God, the better the person we become. And he wants his children to be love. One thing is, I've experienced many situations in my life where I received negative. I've seen people treat me wrong. People come to my face and say, hey, I'm sorry for treating you wrong, and they still repeat that same mistake towards me. And all I could do is just show them love, because I feel like, why waste so much energy being ugly or just treating them the way they treat me? I feel like we don't get nowhere that way. And I know inside of my heart that I'm made for so much more. And if I'm so focused in the Lord and I want to become more of His love and more of God in me, and I want to walk along among this earth and say, this is who I live for, the Father in me. I want you to see the Father that lives inside of my heart. Why would I waste energy and time to be ugly and to bring that torment into my life? I just don't receive that. So in the same sense, I hope and pray that you get to where I'm at, where I don't receive negative. I don't receive that spirit among my life. I feel like God has done so much in my life that I refuse to let that spirit become part of my life. I refuse to wear that clothing that they're battling with. All I could do is let the love of God overpower that spirit in that very moment. So that way, maybe with the love of Christ, would just consume that spirit and knock down that spirit and break that spirit, that the person within that spirit says, you know what, I was wrong. Or you know what, that person's right, I need to seek God more. Or the love of Christ is in her. She could have lashed out. She could have done this and she could have done that. But instead, she still received me in love in that moment where she couldn't. So I think moments like those, yes, the flesh is going to do what it wants, but going back, who is God in your life? If you feel like you're still lacking humbleness and patience, pray about it. Seek it out. Lord, I need more of you. Lord, I need more of your love. Just pour in your spirit into my life. Show me where I lack. Show me, what things are not of you, that I become more of you. That way, our spirit and His spirit become one in unity, that our controlling thoughts and our emotions are not just retaliating what we're feeling in that moment, but reflect of God within every moment we take, every decision we do, every action, that the love of God is just in a constant moving, and just keep going and going. So I just wanted to share that tonight. I hope that helps you in some way, some matter. So all I gotta say is, if you feel like you're lacking some way, somehow, pray about it. In the moment when it's received negative, stay calm, stay relaxed. Don't let it enter your ear gates. Don't let it enter your soul. Do not let it enter who you are, because God made you to become beautiful. God has made you to be so much more than little things that attack us all the time. So He wants you to be just love. Just become love. Just tell yourself every day, the more of Christ in my life, I'm going to do it, because God wants me to become Him. So you have what it takes to become love. If that's one thing hey, I need help on, like I said, go into your prayer zone, pray about it. Just pray about it, and ask God to help you. So God bless. I see y'all soon. See y'all next week.